Hey, what's going on? It's your boy JoeThunder back once again with another episode of the Smoking JoeThunder podcast. You know what I mean? Shout out to our official sponsor, Be Good Dispensaries, over there on 11 West Hampden and up north on 120th across the street from Boondocks. We got another keeping it pushing, man. We're grinding out content for you left and right. We got another banger for you. We got some cats that have been having a label, starter label here in Denver, Colorado, called LSP. You know what I mean? They've definitely been in the scene making moves for a minute. We got Scum and Lynch. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
Yo, chilling, man. Another beautiful day and fucking in the cold Denver.
Right, cold is getting colder, right?
That's
colder.
Good.
You like the cold or what?
Bring the winter. Bring the winter.
I'm not really a fan, but you know what I mean? You got the studio, so you can just fucking hibernate in there and fucking,
Yo,
I
hate the heat, man. Like, after you fucking do a summer tour or two and shit, you start appreciating the snow.
Nah, for sure. I hate both of them. I need just the middle, you know what I mean?
Shit, we can't.
About 70. Give me about 70 and I'm good to go.
You're in LA at 2 in the morning right about now. It's cold, you know what I mean? You better have your little hoodie or some shit.
I like this shit, man. You know what I'm saying?
I love it here, man. I can't, you know what I mean? Born and raised, you know what I mean? Lived a couple other places, but I never, you know what I mean? Always come back here.
Been a lot of places, but this is home. This for sure is home.
Hey, well, let's start off and let's kind of tell them a little bit who you are, man, being that's your first time here. Tell them a little bit about you, what you do.
Shit, my name is Scum. I run a label called Lyrical Snuff Productions. We have artists all over the fucking country, overseas now. I'm a full-time musician. I tour for a living. I drink. I allegedly do drugs occasionally. You know, I make fucking offensive horrorcore music and shit. I've put out over 20 albums, and this is that life. Living the dream, killing myself at it.
That's quite a resume, man.
And I'm Lynch. I guess you would say that I don't want to be the right-hand man because that's the one he might jack off with. So I kind of want to be the left hand. But, you know, if you ever... Right, you never know.
Guess lonely on the road, shit.
So, no, I don't want to be that hand. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm the other hand to make sure...
You're the third eye.
Right, I'm the third eye to make sure things get together. If you need that partner in crime and not don't ever confuse this people. You don't ever want to be a Robin in life. You want to be a Nightwing.
I'm with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody wants to be Robin.
Nobody wants to be a Robin.
Yeah.
You want to be a Nightwing. It's good to be two individuals that both run the shit. But everybody knows what they do. He's the boss. But
you still run shit, though.
But I still run shit.
He does and shit. He has fucking OG status on fucking half these rappers and shit.
That's dope.
But you know what? We're in it together, and that's the combination. Is you got to find somebodies that want to do it together to be successful.
Right. Because it's hard, man. It's hard having groups and, you know.
Dog,
man.
We watched this label come from motherfuckers' garages and shit and fucking, you know what I'm saying, like merch warehouse consisting of fucking 3 Walmart shelves to actually like a full-time fucking job, full-time business, fucking.
Well, that's dope shit.
You mean having merch?
I mean, fuck, like the label has over 120 releases right now, so it's
Goddamn.
been a long fucking time.
You said 20 years, right?
22 years.
22 years.
All right. Hey, Lynch, tell them kind of where you're from and how you kind of made your way to Denver.
I'm an alien. I am a straight alien. Born in Germany. I'm a military brat. Went all over for a second. Went from Germany to Paris. Came back to the States. Went to kindergarten in Pueblo, Colorado.
Oh, shit.
You talk about the only little afro, you know what I'm saying? In kindergarten, just walked to the side. You know what I'm saying? My mama went to Pueblo South, so it was weird.
That's where my mom's from.
No, it's for real? Okay.
Yeah.
So you know. From there, went to been to Mississippi, all over. Like, I have family all over. I'm from that other generation to where you know your first cousins, your second cousins, your third cousins, your great aunties, and you traveled back in the 80s. Gang. You know what I'm saying? Just big ass gang. So yeah, but after about 91, I came back to Colorado. My dad's from here, and I've been here ever since. This is home. Like he said, this is home. This is what we represent, the 303-719-970. We got any area? Right, we got any other area code? Oh, 720. See, we did add it.
720 was another 303. It's just a modified 303 once we ran out of the 303s. Everybody hollers out 303, but you ask a motherfucker, and it's barely anybody that has a 303 phone number and shit. It's all 720 shit.
Right, it's all 720 shit.
Yeah, I gotta be your parents or some shit, you know what I mean?
The landline.
The landline.
That's what I'm saying.
The landline.
My dad ain't got no cell phone. And he won't get one. I don't know why.
But he probably got that 303 number.
He does, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know what? I like modern technology though now. My mom likes the fact that I can video call her, and
Send her a voice
she don't know how to
message
work
and
it.
shit.
She don't know how to work it, but she knows how to hit answer when I call. When she sees my face, she's like, oh no. But I love that though. She loves the option. She loves the option.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Hey, how'd you make your way to Denver?
Shit, man. I moved here like 94, 95 and shit. And born and raised in Moscow, Russia. Moved here briefly to fucking scope it out and shit. My mom moved out here, so I was like, hey, let me come check it out. Fucking, I liked it and shit. Like, it was opportunities. I always wanted to be a fucking metal musician. That shit didn't work out because I fucking suck at instruments, but you know what I'm saying, the desire to be that rock star, that stayed. So as the language, you know what I'm saying, I didn't speak no English when I moved here, so
Oh, damn.
you know, death metal worked because you could just growl and shit and fucking nobody really cared. You know, but then as the language got better, I was like, I want them to understand that I'm being offensive and I'm fucking shitting on their feelings and shit. And so that's where, you know, the whole horrorcore, gore hop came in. I'm like, man, I really, it was always the desire to, like, it's a hot sunny day and a motherfucker parked next to you and shit at the red light. He ain't got no AC and it's hot as shit and his kids are in the back fucking sweating and shit. You know what I'm saying? The dog got the tongue out and you're bumping that new song and shit. And the looks of disgust as they're fucking rolling up the windows and cooking alive is so worth it, man. The hater in me fucking celebrates.
It's funny, man, because I get a little salty when motherfuckers do that. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's a good way to look at that shit, though.
Dog,
You know what I mean?
I've always wanted to, you know what I'm saying, fucking touch people's feelings with a sandpaper. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Hurt that shit. And so that's where there's, you know, initially it was fun, man. It was like the rap version of some fucking like super outlandish, like grindcore fucking, you know what I'm saying, like noisecore, anal cunt type of shit, just pissing on people's fucking emotions. And then it got serious and then it became a job. And here we are doing this more than half my fucking life.
22 years later.
Working 9 to 5.
Hey, do you remember the first time, what kind of influenced you as far as like hip hop or rap music? Like, what was the first kind of couple things you heard?
Like when because I was a metal kid, so like for me, you know, the conversion was like Body Count and fucking Onyx, and then like as far as like actual rappers that I got into, you know, normal, I guess, traditional rappers would be like Brother Lynch Hung and Esham, and you know, then after that it was like Twisted and ICP, and you know what I'm saying, a lot of shit like, you know, East Coast fucking Vinnie Paz, fucking just dark shit, man.
Gotcha.
Anything that, you know what I'm saying, like fucking is aggressive and just fucking releases anger, man. Like I feel the type of music I do is like a punching bag. So it's like, you know, you have two options and shit. You let that shit build up until you end up fucking, you know what I'm saying, here's Johnny, you take an axe and chop up your family or shoot up a mall. Or, you know, you listen to some angry shit, you might jump around in the mosh pit and you feel better.
Right. I'll take number 2.
Punching bag.
Hey, what about you, man? What was kind of some of the first rap music or hip hop that you kind of listened to?
Let's see. Decade-wise, let's go 80s. You have to go Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, early Busta Rhymes when he was with Leaders of the New School.
Okay. Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest. Variety of everything. I was part of that generation that was MTV. We watched videos. ZZ Top, Madonna.
Raps.
Yeah, I mean, yo raps. Like it was yo raps. I mean, I come from that generation. So for me,
yo raps.
I'm
bro.
happy to see where hip hop and music has come from and where it's at right now. And I know, like anything, any society growing, anything, government, you know what I'm saying, establishing itself, it takes time. You have to figure out what's not good for it and what's not right for it and weed and seed it out. And in the end, it's wonderful. I remember when you couldn't play hip-hop, gangster music on the radio.
Not at all.
And it wasn't, now it's in commercials. Now you got Martha Stewart smoking weed with Snoop Dogg.
Right, it's on the Super Bowl.
Right, it's on the Super Bowl.
True, that shit was epic.
That was epic. That was epic for us.
Come a long way.
Dog, I love West Coast rap, so like that was fucking, you know what I'm saying, paying homage to my high school and shit. That shit was good.
Variety of anything. I like R&B. I love music.
Yeah, good music is good music.
I love good music. I love
For
good
real.
music. So I can't really say. I'm not going to put that on one person, but I'm going to give a shout out to Big Daddy Kane with your little, because, you know, you made me want to talk to the ladies.
Right.
Talk to the
Were
ladies.
you trying to dance like Kane?
No. I was in between like
He's
Kid and Play.
He's a dancing motherfucker, man. That whole little stage.
Yeah, but see, then you found Too Short and shit, and you decided, you know.
Yeah, you know, and then it was unfortunately we don't dance anymore. You know what I'm saying? We don't dance anymore. We just cut it 2-step.
You remember the first time listening to Too Short?
BH. Sure do. You know, my first favorite album cover was Ice-T, the Pusha album, when his ex-wife was on the cover back in the.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was the K.
No,
thought that was the K.
I thought that was Coco. I thought that was his current.
No,
that
the
was
first
his first
wife. His first wife.
Oh shit. Okay.
That was
that was the first one. Because
Yes.
she's done a couple of podcasts and talked about that shit.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
yeah.
You ain't pimping until you put your wife in a bikini on a fucking cassette.
That was the first album that I had to say that I was like, oh wow, this is what we're doing here.
Pusha's the shit.
Pushes the shit. So no, a lot of influences. Music, period. Even the failures. Even the failures. You had to learn about, what was them guys' name? The ones who was imitating somebody else's voices that was singing and dancing
Milli
with the
Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. You had to learn from that. Hip hop and the industry had to learn from Milli Vanilli.
For somebody to be able to keep it real, you gotta have some fake and
Right,
shit.
you gotta have some faith. The Tekashi 8-9, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have a little bit of that in the industry.
Right.
It makes it industry. It makes it industry.
Everybody else extra hard.
Right. Keeps you on your toes.
Right on your toes.
I was going to ask you, when did you kind of start taking music seriously?
I would say like around 05, 06, like when we started going outside of Colorado. Because initially, you know, we did a lot of shows out here, but we didn't start going on the road, like as far as playing other states. So it was around that time when we, you know, started actually spending money and traveling and fucking performing for people that we've never met, rather than, you know,
All the homies.
Right, the homies, like they're fans, but you know them by their first. I think that was all. Like for me, the realization that the shit is getting real was that transition. Where like you see somebody decked out in your gear, you know, they got your fucking hat, your shirt and shit, your charm on, and you don't know who the fuck they are. That I was like, oh shit, you
Yeah,
know
that's
what I'm
the
saying?
real
People
shit.
actually like me for my music, not just because I got a good personality and shit, you know.
So you've been doing like the merch for a minute, right?
A long fucking
That's
time.
kind of like a big part of it, which people don't really understand, man.
For our scene is a huge part of it because
They'll spend that money.
right, like I mean the digital checks are nice, but the CD sales is not what they were 10 years ago. Like the fucking physicals died down, and
But-
merch is where you make that money.
You know what? Now you get the physical copies, and that is part of your merch.
Right.
Because it's something you could display that's small. You could sign that
It's
shit
a plastic
for 'em,
poster.
You know what I mean?
That's
Exactly.
really all it is. Like a lot of cats, you know, I always used to fucking get really hurt and shit. Like, you know, sometimes I'd speak on it, sometimes I'd hold it in, but it was like when fans would bring you a CD to sign and it was still shrink wrapped. And you're like, don't you want to open that? And they'd be like, no, just tag it on the plastic. And I'm like, you're never going to fucking play that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're having me sign it, so you're not going to open it, so you're not going to bump the album. And they're like, Scum, I got Spotify. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, what do you listen to? I'm like, Spotify? So I guess it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't be mad because I do the same shit.
People are different. Me personally, I would open that shit and have you sign the
I
cover
usually
and the
do.
CD. You know what I mean? Like, and so you can display it with the little open cock out. You know what I mean?
But
Things
I'm
like
starting
that.
to understand, like, that a lot of the times them not opening that CD doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to bump it. It just Spotify, YouTube, fucking, you know, Pandora, fucking iTunes Music, like, the shit is everywhere.
It is.
My whole discography is there, so I guess some people don't even own a CD player anymore.
I don't, and I'm old. I'm older, and you think I would. You know what I mean? But I don't.
The one thing the CD player comes in handy for is like a lot of old school fucking like hard bangers and shit that were on soundtracks. That shit is never on fucking Spotify or any of that. Like
You're
soundtracks
right.
you have to buy, you know, and that's the shit that you want to pop the CD in for.
You're right. Because there's like I don't know the name of the song, but there's like a Mobb Deep song that's really tight, and it's only on like the Sunset.
Deep cover is not on any fucking, Spotify's, Pandora's, any of that shit. You have to fucking go and buy the damn soundtrack.
And even nowadays, shit, CDs are worth money. Shit, I remember this was years ago. Like my girl bought me a couple CDs, like you know what I mean, and she paid like $30-$40 a piece for them.
It's even hard to find a CD rack. Like I wanted a standing CD rack for my bedroom to put the old school CDs, the stashed ones, and I couldn't find one. Like, it was hard to find.
That's crazy.
It was hard to find.
Everything comes back, though, man. Cassettes are coming back right now and shit. Like, so many artists press them, and fans buy them. And half the time, they don't fucking own a cassette deck and shit. It's just a collector's item.
Collector's
I'm telling you, yeah, just a thing that you can kind of display. It doesn't take up too much space. You know what I mean?
And I can tell you, as the merch manager, I've watched the phase go from being able to sell you 2 CDs and tell you, hey, take one, keep one, and open the other one, to where now you just want the signed one. Because for sure now you don't. To where it was like, 25, 75, 50, 50. It's already gone up. People don't really want physicals. If they do, it's for a collector's item. They want you to sign it and keep on trucking. Even the vinyls now. Vinyls sell, but autograph it, send it on. You want to keep it on deck.
Exactly.
The people that really keep like the physical still alive and shit, a lot of the times is the cast that have been down with you for a long time, and they say they own your first 18 albums. Right. They're proud. They have a full collection. They're really fucking with you. Your new album comes out, they might not even listen to the CDs, but they almost feel like, you know what I'm saying, like, do I get one more and my collection is still complete? Or, you know what I'm saying, do I stop buying the physicals and just listen on Pandora? And most people, you know, it's a collection. It's your pride and joy. You know, if the new
that was the shit back in the days. I mean, we used to...
cassette collections, fucking, you know, people, you know, and if you had every release, you had to get the new release. You just kind of have to and shit. It's, you know.
We're like ghetto politicians. Life has made us true for the people. Because real life things, circumstances have made us real good for the business. We're both collectors of something. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z collector. And when I mean huge collector, I mean I go all the way from having Dragon Ball on VHS, from when the sets made the little pictures all the way up to GT. He's a car collector. He's an old school car collector. There's certain coins, and he's a coin stamp. I think something you'd have to ask him, but
coins.
Yeah, he's
I like silver and
right,
gold.
right. See, but we understand the value of things aging, and the old and the new in the middle. So it's made us better with our company within watching the times
You
change.
think of what you would buy for your collection, and you're like, we can put an LSP logo on that shit and sell it. But you know, honestly, this shit would not be possible without the people that fuck with us. Like our fan base is probably the best motherfuckers out there. They take all of our shortcomings and shit as human beings, you know, fucking my love for partying on the road and shit, and fucking they roll with it. They support us. They're the ones that, like, you know, when COVID hit and like we lost 2 tours back to back and shit, and you know, that's a big part of my income. Plus I, you know, co-run a venue and shit, same thing. You know, there was no shows, and I was like, the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, do I go back to normal life and shit? And they were buying so much more merch, and they, you know, I put out probably the most music I've ever done in my life in that year and a half. I think I dropped like 6 albums in a year and a half. But
God damn.
Yep.
At the same time, we were doing fucking illegal underground show for 50 fucking kids in some fucking warehouse because, you know, shows were not allowed.
Right.
And these motherfuckers would buy more merch than an average tour stop with 300 people. Like, that they really allowed for us to fucking still stay in business and shit, like, you know, be able to fucking cover office rent and shit, fucking pay artist royalties, and without them, you know what I'm saying, like, it doesn't matter how fucking dope the album is and shit, if nobody's listening to it, you ain't gonna fucking eat.
At the same time, it kept us humble. At the same time, that same year and a half of that, we watched the merch game kind of grow. We watched our community decrease. We watched friends that would be
Quit doing music,
quit doing tours. We watched people lose their homes, their families, their lives. There would be times he would come pick me up for work, and there'd be a cat on the corner begging for change. with a new hat that I know because I'm
sold him
that
for
I know
$40.
right that I know that I sold him for $40 within the past 9 months because I know when I dropped that hat.
Yeah.
I know where I would have sold it to you, and within that time frame, you're already
sucked.
and it sucked. And I remember one instance. He was picking me up, and I made him make a U-turn so I can give this guy
some extra bread.
Because I just felt like, and that might have been the
'Cause that's-
equivalent of our pay for that one little hat, and it didn't matter to us. We didn't want to see that to our people.
No, hell no, and shit. That shit hurt.
That hurts.
You know, what
That
I'm saying?
hurts.
You want to
For
see
sure.
you want to see your people doing good. You want to see the people that, you know, they rely for you to get through their day and shit. But at the same time, you know, you want them doing good. You don't want to be like, hey, you know, bump our shit. It can be just like him. Like that ain't like that and shit, man. Like it definitely. It was a weird time. It made us appreciate a lot of our people. Watched a lot of our people die and shit, man. It was a depressing time.
Yeah,
And
that
it was such
sucks.
for touring musicians. You know what I'm saying? A lot of overdoses, a lot of fucking, you know what I'm saying? Just bad fucking breakdowns and shit.
Depression was bad.
Drinking
Nah,
themselves
I know.
to death.
Bad.
That's what a lot of people are doing. Like you said, doing a lot of drugs and doing a lot of drinking, like during COVID, because they didn't have nothing else.
Did that shit too and shit. Fucking.
What helped us was we had each other, and we still had the music. We still knew we had to put out and do something for the music because people were listening to it.
Right.
They were sitting at home. You needed some home entertainment.
That is true.
For sure.
You needed something to keep you occupied other than going out there raging in the streets and releasing all that energy that you got to do other things that you could be doing totally something negative towards. And we try to keep it contained inside the house. Cool, go shoot up Call of Duty. Don't go shoot up the school.
Right, not at
You
all.
leave them kids alone.
Yeah, leave them kids at school. If you want to hit me up, I'm Elder Dragon 75 on PlayStation. Hey, if you want to yell at me while your mom's in the other room and talk shit to me, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. I let that out on me. But do not go to the schools. Do not go to the grocery stores. I'm just trying to get a Reese's peanut butter cup, maybe a couple apples. You know what I'm saying? Some Starbucks. Don't be shooting up the
down, don't
grocery
shoot at
store.
him.
Right, I'm down. Don't shoot at me.
That's crazy. Were y'all glad? How do you say? As soon as COVID was done, did you like?
Dog. Here's the thing. COVID, in a different way, also taught us to be humble with fucking events. Because, like, we were so beat up and shit. We're doing 100 shows a year for a few years before COVID hit. And so, like, we were burned out. I was like, man, I need a fucking break. I took the first 3 months of the evil year off and shit. Like, I turned down show offers. I turned down tour offers. I was like, man, I need a fucking break. We're going back out in April. We just did 2 back-to-back fucking nationwide tours. And I passed on all these shows, which for the next year, I was like, oh, shit, I should have played that and that and that.
At least the big ones, right?
Dog, like, just...
In general,
because during COVID, after about 6 to 9 months and shit of like sitting at the crib, we were taking any show offers. Motherfuckers would be like, yo, you know what I'm saying, we're throwing together this illegal fucking basement party and shit, fucking, you know, if the police don't shut it down, it's going to be, we'll pay you still, your normal guarantee, but it ain't going to be a real venue because all the real venues are closed.
Right.
You know, or playing fucking places where like it starts with sitting down and next thing you know, the fans down push the tables back and they're starting to mosh and you're like, are they going to shut it down or are they going to let it slide? Like it really, each one of we went from 100 shows a year to 7 in the evil year of 2020.
Damn.
7.
That's wild.
It was fucking crazy.
And it's like everybody else going to school, it's a routine for us. We've built a lifestyle and a home style built off of being on the road and doing this music consistently. Our kids know this is what we do. Our families know this is what we do. And when I mean that, let me clarify that. When I mean you won't be home for Thanksgiving, you won't be home for Easter.
Right.
One of the kids' birthdays might get missed, and he might be pissed the next year, or you might have to come home. It's psychological. You might have to buy extra pair, and then you pay off your kids for being gone. And how does that turn? It's so, bro. It's life. It's
Right.
real life. This shit's real life.
There's a cost to it.
There's a cost to it.
There's a cost to
There's
everything.
a cost to it.
Now, when you're on tour, you sound like you party a lot. You get down, man, or what?
You kind of have to. It's part of, like,
No,
that
he's
part-
very
is-
no.
is that
He's
part-
very as his manager. He's very professional. He shows up on time.
I do show up.
But you're when we say this partying, like you guys are like in with the crowd. Like it's not like you do your show and you dip. You're there,
No, hell no, and shit.
kicking
Like,
it with them, and
dog, when you do certain tours and shit, like, and they sell VIP and you're part of the VIP package because you're one of the headliners, you take the money because, you know what I'm saying? But then
Yeah,
I'm the first one to always get in trouble for fucking, they're like, no, you're in the crowd fucking taking pictures and signing shit for free, so you're devaluing the fucking VIP package. And I'm like, well, that's too bad. That's what I normally do.
you got to do that, man.
You have to. It's part of the underground. Like, we truly stand by this underground LSP family, the whole just culture of this type of music, and you have to be in the crowd. You have to be a fan of the music. Like, kind of what, you know, you asked about hip hop that we fuck with and that we grew up on. You truly, like, I feel, because we're both music fans, and like, I couldn't live without music.
Right, me neither, man.
I don't.
So it's, you know, like, you have to treat them how you want to be treated as a fan of the music, which we are. So, no, we're always in there. And yes, it's partying because we built this. You know, when we started touring and shit, like, everybody fucking sits there and scratches their dick talking about, you know, when I get riders, I'm going to ask for this and this and this. And so we always fucking push that whole, like, you know, Jaeger is our tour drink because, you know, out of trying all these various alcohols, you know.
I like Jaeger bombs; those are the best.
Same here. That's pretty much our designated
It's like
drink.
it's NyQuil,
NyQuil.
cherry NyQuil.
The beautiful thing about Jaeger is you can drink it for 30 days straight and not be that hungover and just keep functioning. Like, you don't get sick like that. At least for us, because we drank the brandies. We fucking drank the tequilas and shit and fucking, you know, whiskeys. And it just ended up coming to Jaeger being that designated drink. So,
And Crown Apple, please.
and Screwball for me, but like the
And a
safe
shout
bet-
out to Ogden, Utah, for bringing us underground.
underground,
The
yes.
underground.
You know what I'm saying? As much as I hate Ogden, Utah, because that's where IRS is based and shit, and IRS be fucking with independence. There's also this delicious beverage made there called the Underground, which, if you're a Jaeger drinker, you definitely have to try. It's a very interesting.
I think that's chapter
Jaeger-like.
that's chapter 2-3 of the LSP book coming out soon.
Hell no, we ain't putting that book out till I'm dead.
Okay, right.
I got daughters and granddaughters and shit. I don't
But
need
yeah,
that.
check for that one in, you know what I'm saying, the underground Ogden, Utah. There's a story behind that. And we can't tell you right now because it's in the book. But trust me, you want to know. There was a story behind that.
Where the Underground came from.
And I just want to say, he never stopped rapping.
Nope.
He never stopped rapping. That's all I'm going to say.
No, yeah.
Underground,
Just gotta keep it moving.
keep it moving.
No, but to answer your partying question, it's part of the lifestyle, man. Like, it's, you get to the venue first. You're there usually at least 2 hours before doors for load in, for merch setup, for sound check. You're there last because you got to load out, and
Right.
fucking, you know, say goodbyes and shit, sign last fucking things, have last couple of shots, and that's every day, or, you know, usually 6 days out of the week on a tour for a month. And you're there for the acts, and you're there for dealing with the venues, and that's just what you do, is you party. I mean, and it's kind of, then the tour turns into a slightly blur, like, hey, you leave home and shit, and then, you know, a month later you're like, shit, it's already over. I don't know.
You're like, where'd all that time go?
The road depression will get to you if you don't fucking try to at least make this fun, man. You know what I'm saying? You spend a whole lot of time in a fucking vehicle and shit. I don't trust highways. We've been in too many fucking deadly accidents and shit over the years. It's just something that you try to make the best of it, and then it becomes a part of the lifestyle. Like I said, like, you know, for a minute there, we were like, yo, so beat from fucking constantly touring and shit. Wish I could have a break. You get that forced break, and you realize how much you fucking, like, 10 years of constantly going out, like, you build friendships and, you know what I'm saying, like, close fucking bonds with people all over the country, and you take seeing them for granted until you realize, like, you're like, shit, the only reason I get to and shit, other than like a few big festivals a year, is because we're constantly traveling and shit.
Right.
And like, it's like losing a limb and shit, you know. I was going crazy, like fucking claustrophobia statewide, you know? Like, motherfuckers would be afraid of being trapped in an elevator and shit. For me, it was like I love Colorado, but I'm like, I have to be able to miss it occasionally, otherwise I'm going to go fucking crazy.
Right. And it sounds like you guys are hitting everywhere, right?
Pretty much. I mean,
Pretty much.
I would say there's maybe like, I think 7 or 8 states that we haven't hit. And a lot of them are like either super fucking, you know, pro-righteous Christian states or far ones like Alaska or Hawaii and shit that are, you know what I'm saying, just out of the way. But the goal is to play everywhere.
Right. How would you guys kind of describe your music or your style, your genre?
I'll let him describe that one.
Well, okay, my personal music is one thing, the label is the other thing. Like, LSP is just an aggressive music label. I mean, we have horrorcore artists like myself, but then we have hard hip-hop artists and we have trap artists, and like it's you don't have to be a horrorcore artist to be a part of LSP. You just have
But
to
that's
make
like a little bit of it. Like you said, it's the trap horrorcore. It's the
everybody does their own thing. Like I said, I'm more, I guess, second generation horrorcore and considered a classic musician for this genre.
And real quick, for the people that don't know, can you explain that to them real quick? What horrorcore is?
Horrorcore is like death metal put to fucking rap. Realistically, like it's the
Scary stories. Because I'm not one of the original ones. I came in later and he trained me in the dark side. So when you look it up, it always shows up as more like scary stories. Freddy, Jason, conformed serial killers, conformed into rap music.
Kind of some Gravediggers type shit?
Yes.
Maybe? Brother Lynch shit?
Yes.
Brother Lynch and Gravediggers and like Flatliners, that's all in a way considered horrorcore. And actually,
Yes.
that's one of the subgenre tags you'll find on each one of those artists.
We've had the
Cannibal
opportunity.
Corpse to fucking, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, to add it over some fucking hip-hop beats. You know, and our sub-movement of horrorcore being gore hop is really based on the fact that we don't go after the scarier, darker beats, which would be kind of like what Flatliners started with. It was like Onyx on some fucking evil shit, you know what I'm saying? Like fucking... we don't really have an evil sound. It's shock rap. It's...
You're just going to say some wild ass shit that's going to make me be like, God damn, but I'm going to hear a bunch of it.
Pretty much, right. You know, but I feel that every genre has that, you know, black sheep in it and shit, that oddity. And for hip-hop, that's horrorcore.
Okay.
You know, fucking like a lot of that. Horrorcore is where you shove all the unspeakable content and shit, you know, like each one of these artists calls their shit something else. You know what I'm saying? Acid rap, fucking wicked shit, gore hop. But it's really all horrorcore. And it's that stamp where people that love it, they truly love it. It has a cult following. But is it for everybody? No, not so much. I think the closest to horrorcore, but still accepted by the masses, would be Vinnie Paz. Like, I feel that's as dark as hip-hop can get without getting that fucking stamp.
Right. I was gonna say Brother Lynch, eating baby guts and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Lynch definitely. He has horrorcore albums. He has albums that are more gangster.
Right. And he has a separation which are horrorcore.
Gotcha.
Like that Strange trilogy, that was horrorcore.
Because that
For
was
sure.
kind of more of an introduction for me into it was Brother Lynch Hung. But I listened to Brother Lynch Hung more on the gangster end,
The gangster
with like
shit.
SIBO, you know what I'm saying, E40s, that was the Celly Cell, that was during that time frame. But when he started doing the combination of both, I understood the Stephen King, the it side of what he was saying. And even, what was it, Big Lurch? What year was that? That was in the 90s. Big
Yeah.
Lurch, when he ate it, what was that, his baby's mama? That was in the 90s.
X-Rated's first album
X-Rated.
was horrorcore as
Right.
fuck.
Yeah.
So it's always been there in the hood. So, but once again, you go from, you know what I'm saying, dancing and hopping on that leg, and to, what did he just say? And everybody
That
couldn't
double
do that
take.
in the hood. So it took a certain direction with those types that you just named. And that's where you get the separation of us that's willing to go between both and like, yeah, man, just let him do his thing. Does it sound good? Are you bobbing your head? Does it make you get up in the morning and maybe be a little bit more positive and not more negative than you were yesterday? And that's all that matters.
And negative music releases negative energy. People proven shit. People that are into that kind of shit genuinely feel better on the inside and happier after listening to this negative type of music. Fucking like brutal death metal saved my life. And it's kind of the closest comparison too, because shit like that when I was like an angry 14-year-old. Is Cannibal Corpse really out there fucking digging up, dismembering, and fucking corpses? Probably not. You know, it's entertainment. But it made me feel better and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was an ugly, fucking poor kid, fucking that didn't speak English in this country and shit, fucking, you know, at the age of like 14, 15. I was angry as fuck. I needed fucking violent music.
Right. What about like all the backlash though? I mean, that has to kind of suck.
You get the backlash, but honestly,
You get the backlash from anything.
True that.
From somebody. There's always been a hater out
can't
there.
please everybody and shit.
There's always been a hater
No,
out
you're,
there.
You're 100 on that.
Who can you please 100%? Even your mama, she don't love you. I mean, she like tell you she love you 100%, but there's something in the back of her head. She be like, "Hey, he would never take out the trash. Lad would never wash his back. Would never wash the toilet, clean out the toilet, put down the toilet seat."
You know what's weird and shit? Like, I've ran events in fucking a concert hall for a very long time, and the most peaceful and like least problematic shows out there and shit is like horrorcore, juggalo, and death metal. The most negative content, motherfuckers break up their own fights usually. There ain't nobody getting shot. There ain't nobody getting stabbed. And if those people are gonna snap, they're not gonna snap at one of the shows because that's their happy place.
That's their haven, right?
So like I love those scenes. Like I feel comfortable around those people. This is their fucking safe zone and shit. They come, they release their anger, fucking they go home, they feel a little better. So in a way, we're doing something decent.
Right. So would you guys say like what's the difference between like you guys and Juggalos or ICP? Is they're just kind of like a different lane, but kind of in the same kind of thing? Because like you said, they kind of have the same shit. They don't really trip on each other.
They the OGs to this.
You know what I mean?
They the OGs. They the OGs.
You know, we mentioned artists in different markets, and it's like, on the West Coast, Lynch Hung, you know, as far as what to me is horrorcore. On the South, it'd be like Gangsta Nip or 3-6 Mafia. On the East Coast, it'd be like Gravediggers and Flatliners.
Okay.
When it comes to Michigan, it's Esham and ICP. You know, those are the founders of that Midwest chapter of horrorcore and shit. And I mean, Juggalos are a big part of our scene and our culture and shit. Like,
huge.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I will always be thankful to ICP for bringing so many more faces to this dark side.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing but love.
Have you ever met them?
Yeah, we've done
Or done shows with them, I'm sure?
Several gatherings.
8 gatherings.
Several gatherings, several little smaller shows, several of their artists on the label. Man, it's
Pretty much done shows, or if not tours, we've done shows with pretty much everybody that we fuck with.
past and past and present.
Everybody.
Past and present. Even still now, we still do business with both of them. With all of them.
Yeah, without the Juggalo culture, I don't think horrorcore would have survived, because commercially it was a loss. Like I remember when Flatliners, who coined the term horrorcore in general and shit, you know, their debut album was on Def Jam and shit. You know, that's Russell Simmons' nephew, and fucking the album was amazing to me, but it was a flop on a major level. Major label expectations, like to our genre, we're like, man, motherfucker sold 250,000 albums.
Right.
That's awesome.
But it's not doing LL numbers.
You know, but to the label, it was like, that's just not enough. It's just an underground genre with a dedicated, loyal cult following and shit that, you know what I'm saying, like, if you don't love it and you're not a part of it and shit, you probably be like, man, this shit is too weird. I just want some normies to fuck with me. We don't like normies. We like them. We love them. Shit.
Right.
It was a great entry. I don't love every single last Juggalo, but I love the Juggalo. I love Juggalo culture, yes,
all
because it was a great, to me, it was a great sideline out from being able to be in the music, but not being able to be judged. 90s music started judging kind of, and you had to kind of keep up a certain appearance into 2000. You had to wear a certain type of shoe. You had to wear a certain type of pants. You had to wear a certain, and it's not, I got tired of trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Exactly.
I watched the era grow. I didn't want to do that anymore. The Juggalo scene didn't judge you for anything, however I've seen some of the most craziest shit. Allegedly. Some of the and it's not judged. It's not judged. I mean, and I don't mean like out there like, but I've seen not illegal. You know what I'm saying? Illegal like raping little baby kids or weird shit. But I mean like partying. I've seen and done some pretty cool ass shit.
Let's hear about a couple of those.
No, that's in the book.
You gotta give us
that's in the
right,
book.
Right,
that's
right,
in the
right.
book.
That's going in the book.
That's going in the book. But no, I'm very grateful for the Juggalo community for accepting, you know what I'm saying, for being accepting of the weird, being into the weird. And it's not weird. We're just normal weird. We're just, I don't know what it is. What's normal and what's weird at this point?
Like, I feel there's a big difference in shit. Like, I hate the term Juggalo rapper. It's just, you know what I'm saying, like, what we fought for years, because I'm like, we have our own identity, but, you know what I'm saying, I consider myself a Juggalo. I love the Juggalo culture and shit. And I honestly, it took me years to understand how important it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that it's not just a fucking party and motherfuckers get together and do drugs and shit and fucking, like, it's really a culture with its own fucking lingo, its own background and story and shit. People are genuinely look out for each other. Like it's almost like, I don't know, violent hippies.
Hey, it's like villages. It's like villages.
It's like some Grateful Dead shit.
It's all little villages, and all together the little villages come together and form in one main.
And make this.
Right, a bunch of Ewoks, and that's what it's like.
I'm happy to be one of the Ewoks and shit.
Right.
I love those fucking type of functions.
Everybody migrates.
That's my shit.
Everybody migrates from their own little part of the world somewhere to a nice party, and I mean, hey, the kids are being watched. There's being food cooked, water being given out. You see somebody not doing so well, you help them out. There's no letting them lay on the ground like that. There are people
Just to make sure they're alive and shit.
Right.
Make sure they're breathing.
Yep. But how many other scenes do that like that?
Not many.
Not many.
They'll pull out the camera and start recording. We just seen the other day.
Fuck all that. That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the scene is, it's like a book with a fucking really scary cover. That's like a really fucking good story on the inside. You just gotta fucking look past the cover.
And it's never been about how big is your chain.
Right.
I've never, or who has the coolest shoes. Because trust me, your shoes do not matter.
If anything, it might be who has the best drugs.
Man, right.
That goes a lot.
Hey, I'll say the hair. I'll say the hair and the beards. The beards get it in. The beard cats, they get it in. They don't know it, but they get it in.
What do you mean?
The beard, the guys who have the long little beard. I ain't got no long beard. I keep it nice and trimmed. I'm the manager, you know what I'm saying? I gotta look good, you know what I'm saying?
What do you say? Is the motherfucker that be looking like a dwarf in Lord of the Rings and shit? He's like, yo, that motherfucker's getting all the pussy.
Right, he's getting all the pussy. He's getting all the...
The rougher you look, not like rough.
Not rough,
just
but...
mad because he can't grow that beard.
I can't grow that beard. I'm just a hater. I can't grow the hair. And I can't grow no hair on the top. I'm bald. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That even the long hair and the little drips and, you know what I'm saying? The little long, even back in the hood, the little long braids, they was cool. The little Shirley Temples and all that. But you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no hair. I'm just bald headed. They don't like bald heads no more.
Hey, when you guys are on tour, what are you looking for, man, out there? Like, as far as like chick wise, man, you find you'll get.
Oh,
you know
none of the above. We're not even looking. We are not looking for chicks.
You know
we are at work.
Well, you're partying. You know what I mean?
No.
You know.
No,
If
party.
my wife is listening, we're not on the road.
No, we are not. No.
That, no?
Right. No, hey, no, not even that. Because at this stage in the game, even if we were single, we're not looking for that. This is a business for us.
It's a job.
This is a job. This is a job.
Hey, but you get a 15-minute break.
Yeah, but that's problems.
That's problems. And when we both already got kids, we know how expensive they is. I don't want no man. I don't want no more of them. No more. I love them. I love mine to death, but I don't want no more.
They're expensive.
Expensive. And you already mentally in my head. You know what I'm saying? To where you hey, like we said, it's part of what we do. I might have to wake up because my daughter's in another state. and no matter where she's at, she's in that state. She'll hit me up for breakfast in the morning, and it's boba money, and she want that Starbucks money, whatever, it doesn't matter. And no matter what I'm partying or doing, and even the time shift, even if I'm on the East Coast, if I'm on the West Coast, if I got a straw in my hand or $1, or if I got a double shot in my hand, you know what I'm saying? Hey, when that text come through, I gotta send that cash app. I gotta send that through.
It's the love, man. You
When they call in the morning and want 5 minutes before they get on the bus or whatever, you gotta. Hello, child. Yes.
Sober the fuck up.
Yes. Your dad's doing all right there. Yes, we just had a long night there. Yes.
He's actually getting ready to go to bed now.
Right. Wrong night. Right. But you got to send that. You got to send that, and you got to do that. You got to do that. It's part of the lifestyle.
You got to balance it and shit. Honestly, anybody except for like the straight edge musicians, which there is some, but not most of the people in our community. You couldn't do it fucking, like, people are like, well, do you tour all year long? I'm like, you would literally die. Like, the abuse you put on your body and shit a month at a time is enough. But, like, if you try to do that shit for 6 to 9 months in a row and shit, it would just shut down and you would die.
Now, when you're doing that 6 to 9 months in a row, how many shows are you doing a week?
No, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't survive a fucking 6 to 9 month tour and shit. Fucking party too hard. I would die. On a 30-day, I mean, like, say you do a month-long tour, that's usually 24, 25 shows in a 30-day stretch. So you get like a day off a week, you know.
Mondays.
Usually Mondays is damn near impossible to sell. And then if you got like some major holiday during the tour, that'll be that extra day off and shit, because nobody buys holidays. You know, you're like, hey, we're playing and shit, you should book us. They're like, it's Thanksgiving, dickheads. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers are sitting at home eating turkey.
You know what's funny is I actually seen who the fuck did I see? I seen like Do or Die
on Thanksgiving or something.
Thanksgiving fucking night, and I didn't think it was gonna be no one there, but it was actually pretty cracking. It was jail, felony, and fucking
Do or Die.
And Do or Die.
Okay.
That's dope. But that means they found somebody to take that. Trust me, and you're not getting paid your full guarantee and shit to do a holiday, because you are fighting against fucking family functioners and all of that shit. But of course you try to sell it, because ain't nothing sadder than sitting at a fucking hotel room on some holiday. At least like you're rocking a show, you're partying, you know what I'm saying, you're having a good time, you're making money. Yeah. Fucking versus just sitting there and be like, oh shit, we got a day off. Fucking everybody else is at home doing family shit and our lives suck.
And ain't nothing open. You might get a movie before 2 o'clock, before 4 or 5 o'clock. Other than that, they shutting down early too on the holiday.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing open. There's nothing going down.
I've been stuck on the college campus for Thanksgiving one year, and that shit was like a ghost town. Nothing was open, and 7-Eleven.
Yep, but by DU, when we fucking lived there for a while and shit, like old headquarters, I wasn't shit open, but 7-Eleven on fucking, you know what I'm saying, Thanksgiving.
Nachos, baby, nachos.
Mm-hmm. Right,
7-Eleven nachos.
And you were talking about having artists all over the place, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How did that kind of start? How did you guys start recruiting your army, your team?
My brother, rest in peace, who co-founded the label and, you know what I'm saying, like, helped do the financials and the numbers and all, you know what I'm saying, like, and the origins of it till 07. He moved to Indiana, and he's been pushing. He's like, well, since, you know what I'm saying, like, you're going to be here in Colorado, and, we're going to start adding artists from out there. So he signed Dark Half. That was our first out of the state, and, like, very big signing and shit. Motherfuckers had an amazing career. But when he passed, we're kind of like, well, shit, there's no point in trying to fucking run two different, I guess, divisions to a label if I have to run both of them. Right. So we combined that shit, and it worked. And, as we started traveling and doing shows in other states, you meet artists, and you're like, man, this motherfucker's killing it and shit. Like, we'd like to fucking build with them. And so, we added an artist from New Mexico at that point. So we had one from Wisconsin, one from New Mexico. And from there on, we just, as we tour, as we expand, we try to bring out, every region has their own sound.
It kind of almost sounds like I watched the And One documentary the other day, and how they would pick up like people from each city? Like if you would win, and you could join the tour, and you know what I mean? Shit like that.
Maybe not city, but like region.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like for us, and sometimes you end up with more than one in one state, just because it's two different sounds. But most of the time, we do have somebody per region, or at least close enough to where they can work together and shit.
Right.
That's dope. No, it's definitely growing, and then we added our first international artist and shit recently, and we're gonna start trying to expand overseas and just keep building and shit.
Is that the market right now overseas? They eat that shit up. I hear they know the music better than us.
To an extent, just depends. But I mean, a lot of the countries, they support their own actually out there, which, Germany is huge on horrorcore, but it's German-spoken horrorcore. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking Japan has their own shit, but it's Japanese-spoken shit. So, but it's definitely something like
those are the cats you need to collab with. They have their Japanese verse, and you got my verse. And,
we have a lot of international songs, man. I got songs with as many as like 7 languages per song.
That's dope. That's real dope.
Definitely fuck with international community.
No, it's kept us in a nice. It's kept us in a nice loop with everybody around the world. I mean, it hasn't separated us. This guy's been able to do music with everybody throughout the country and throughout the world. And with him being international himself, it's easier for him to have these connections, and with having a successful, good, positive business label.
Right. Who are some of your favorites that you've done music with?
I don't actually do any of the music. That's the one thing. See, that's the good thing about being the left hand. I don't want to be a rapper.
Gotcha.
So there is no division or any argument or fights amongst us in the business.
Gotcha.
We're able to run the business without having that fight, because I don't want to be a rapper. I'm not a producer. I'm not a rapper. I handle kind of everything else.
Business.
Yeah, I handle the business. I mean, but same thing with like him. I tour manage, I tour book, I merch manage, I manage several other tour managers throughout every single one of our, almost one of our artists has a merch manager, which because we have at least a 450 item website that I manage, me and another gentleman. So between the website and between touring, I stay busy amongst that. And the sevens, making sure everybody has merch. Somebody has to do the little stuff and not mind doing the little stuff.
Right.
Like,
how did you guys meet?
At a collection agency.
Yep.
Like a job?
Yeah. Suit and tie. We both had on Stacey Adams dress shirts and, you know what I'm saying, ties. And we were trying to buy weed. One of us was trying to, I don't remember if it was him or me that was trying to buy weed for one another. And we both like music.
The most drug-friendly, felon-friendly suit and tie industry in the fucking world.
Collections.
Running motherfuckers' pockets and shit.
We work for a law firm. Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
I could never do collections. I tried. You know what I mean?
The morals kick in later. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people stay in it for life. Like, for me, there came a time where I was like, dog, I'm hitting up all people, like all my homies and shit. Like, this shit is wrong. But initially, you're just like, man, it ain't no different than fucking hard drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you're doing bad to motherfuckers, but you're really not giving a fuck because you need that money at the time and shit. And everybody is, when you're young, your morals are a little, you know what I'm saying, a lot more flexible.
So who had the weed?
Both of us did at some point in time, but I think it was more me at that time.
That was a long.
Such a long time ago.
A lot of drinking, a lot of party drugs and shit. I remember coming to that motherfucker tripping on acid, fucking, and like lost his fucking shit in that office. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking hitting people up, trying to run their pockets and shit while fucking tripping balls and shit.
See, and I was a club thug back then. I would go hop the fence. On our Thursday late nights, I would go hop the fence behind our job, go to this local club, and get a stamp for free. Slam two free drinks in a 15-minute break. And this is all in some Stacey Adams on a shirt and tie. Re-hop the fence back, come back to work, all you know what I'm saying? And then later on when we get off, I'd go back, either go home and change clothes, or either just go after work and go back and get jiggy.
Gotcha.
So, no, that's what...
I went home and did drugs.
Yeah, he went home and did drugs.
Do you guys remember the first time you guys smoked weed?
Shit. In general?
I wouldn't say the first time we smoked weed. I'd say the first time we realized we could do this together. And I think it was the 6-footer.
Yeah.
He stayed. Okay, when I first met him, he had this dungeon. Okay, this fucking dungeon.
Little dungeon.
Yeah, he had this dungeon.
The
This little.
smoking basement and
Right.
shit, and there lived a 6-foot bong.
And there lived
and
a
the 6-foot bong tested your fucking smoker manhood. And
Right,
like,
yeah.
you know, if you could clear that motherfucker, then you was a smoker.
Yes, and I think I was what, two and a half, at least two, cleared it at least twice, two, 3 times. So after that, I passed the test.
Did it ever make you throw up? Did it ever make you throw up?
Maybe
No.
you throw up before once.
No.
Fuck yeah, and shit. Fucking if the shit doesn't if it goes too deep, because you're clearing out. I mean, a fucking quarter of weed in one fucking hit. I don't know, but
Have I ever thrown up? Yes. Partying with this dude? Oh yes, I have.
Talking off like the big bong, because like
No.
we had a big bong like that too, and like our fuck up would be is we were in college, so we would go get all drunk.
Okay.
And then we go back, and then we
And
continue
then
to
hit the
No, we
motherfucker.
would continue to drink, and then once we ran out of liquor, then it'd be like, well, all we got is weed left. Let's start hitting the bong, and it's supposed to throw up. Like,
okay, so yeah, the other shit that I used to do. I used to be a big pothead. I don't smoke that much weed no more and shit. Fucking for various reasons and shit. It just fucks with my head right now. But used to, and fucking when you would make yourself sick, but it got you so extra fucked up is when you put. You know what I'm saying? Like either vodka or fucking whiskey instead of water in the bong.
I've never done that.
That shit hits you different, man.
That sounds extreme.
It hits you different because you get like the alcohol fucking fumes mixed with the weed and shit, and like it hits you. If you don't throw up, it fucks you up instantly and like crazy. But sometimes you do throw up, but it's worth it
I've
when
thrown
you're
up
young.
once or twice,
Allegedly.
The liquor, yes, several times. I prayed to the
Shit,
God.
every tour.
right? Every other night.
I've prayed to that God once or twice. 3 times.
But that's your
a
body's
lady.
defense mechanism and shit. How many times when you start throwing up, that means you consumed more than your body can handle.
Right.
And how often do we do that? All the fucking time, because you're like, man, I'm gonna do all of that shit. Everything, and you're like, body is like, shit, we're gonna die, fool. It has to do what it has to do to keep you alive so you can do it again tomorrow.
But you know what? If I can say something to the youngsters, you know what, youngsters? It's not the puking. You know what makes me slow down from the drinking? If you're gonna slow down, it's the blackouts. You wake up sometimes the next day and you don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
that's the worst. Some people love that shit though.
Hell no, that shit is scary. Cause
Oh,
fucking,
yeah.
Okay, I've had weeks of that shit, like on the 4-5-94 tour, because it was a memorial tour for our homie that just passed and shit and all of that. Like, it was a sad, emotional tour with a whole lot of fucking drinking. That was weeks that, I think I remember 4 or 5 days out of that whole month. And people could literally tell you, be like, man, you remember, you did this and this. And you literally have to look at your homie and be like, did I? And the motherfucker could fuck with you and be like, yeah, you did. And you'd be like, damn. I'd have to, you know what I'm saying? Until proven otherwise, I'd have to almost believe it because I don't remember.
I've fallen out
Shit's
of
scary.
I've fallen out of vehicles with steak dinners that he's bought me, and I don't even remember going down there and cracked.
East Coast.
Woke up and had to wake up and ask, "How's this blood? Oh, where's this?"
It's me dragging you up to the 3rd fucking floor and shit. I'm old and broken too.
No.
See, that was even a short story. See, we gave y'all a short story. You don't want to know the rest.
It was a long night.
It was a long night.
Hey, being that you guys have been on the road a lot and always fucking like you said on the highways, you ever get kind of like any crazy situation with the police, like having fuck with you?
Honestly, man, up and down. We've had I think the worst we got into it was at the Canadian border, getting our shit fucking tossed by the customs people in interrogation rooms and all sorts of fucking weird shit. As far as the States, hit and miss, man. I'm not even gonna fucking front man, the pigs always fucking with us. We've locked out quite a few
Several
and
times.
shit to where we should have had the shit tossed and they definitely would have won. You know what I'm saying? Fucking a few people would have went to jail.
Oh, Oklahoma.
And
We should have went to jail in Oklahoma.
should have went to jail a few times. This tour, fucking every tour, there's usually a one instance where you're like, yep, we fucked up. And most of the time, you get pretty lucky. Sometimes they decide to fuck with you, but okay, you look at the van and it's puzzled to the top with boxes and crates and bags and everything, and there's like 8 or 9 motherfuckers in that van. And the cop has to make that decision. Yes, he's probably gonna fucking, come home with the W and shit. He's gonna find something. But it's gonna take him all day to fuck with this van. And does he want to? Like, did we do anything to piss him off bad enough to where he's gonna spend the whole day tossing our van?
Right.
And sometimes they just, they give you that speeding ticket or whatever, and they let you slide. In certain states you don't fucking smoke in the van and shit.
No,
like,
for sure.
And that's important.
What are those states? Like, I would say, is Kansas one of them?
Kansas is not really weed friendly at all and shit. Fucking, let's see, I think Indiana is still not weed friendly at all.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna answer that question because I smoke in all 50 states when I go through.
But I'm saying, like, if you got a van and motherfuckers got shit that they shouldn't have,
okay,
and you're like, hey,
if I'm obeying the law, okay,
smoke at rest areas.
Okay, Kansas, you don't want to smoke in. You kind of want to stay away from Texas. Let's see, what's another one you want to stay away from?
Vegas used to be a big one, but now they're lax.
Vegas
Yeah, now
is
they're
relaxed
lax.
now.
But you remember back in the day, they like a roach would get you 20 years.
Utah is a no-no.
Yeah.
Utah is a
still
no-no.
Right. Wyoming.
Yeah, Wyoming
be
is a
hating on
no-no.
some weed.
Actually, you're right.
Oh, Nebraska.
That's what I'm saying.
Nebraska.
What
Watch
about
it.
those down south, Mississippi, fucking
they don't
Arkansas?
They don't fuck with the tweeds. But I tell you what, we don't normally like I said, we won't even put that label on them because we don't perform enough down there to say what the smoking weed thing is like. Okay,
Arkansas is pretty relaxed.
yeah, Arkansas is okay from where we've been at in Arkansas.
Indiana is relaxed. Like, it's not legal, but they, some states it's not legal, but
Right.
they're cooler about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of how Colorado used to be. I mean, we always smoked a lot of weed, and I think it was more fun before it was legal and shit. And fucking.
Well, I remember back in the day, though, like, when I was in, like, high school, you'd go to jail for that shit.
You would for
like, for a sack.
You would, but then, like, dog, you really didn't fucking, you know what I'm saying? You ended up with a fucking misdemeanor and shit, fucking and $100 fine and shit if it wasn't like a fucking pound. And
Under an ounce.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like, fucking, and even selling that shit back then, like, they didn't really fuck with you. I mean, you sold brick swag. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you're bringing in 1,000 pounds.
Right, like they were just like, you're funding your fucking weed habit. You know what I'm saying? You do you. So Colorado was always relaxed to an extent in comparison to some states like Utah or Vegas used to be, where they actually didn't care how much you had, like you were going to jail.
That shit, I lived in Vegas for a couple of years, and that shit was expensive. Like, I don't know, Reggie's always been the same price. It's always been $50, maybe $60 an ounce. Like, that shit out there was like $120 an ounce. Like,
Whoa.
you know what I mean?
But that's the same way it was in Russia, man. Like, our punishment was the same as for heroin and shit. Like, it was kind of flat across for all drugs.
All drugs are drugs.
So if you go into fucking prison and shit, we're talking rough ass prison camps and shit, you're not gonna fucking sell it to make $5. Right. Like, you're gonna want to come up like on some hard drugs.
What about the chick out there right now that's still kind of being detained for the...
Oh, Garner.
Garner, WNBA player.
I'll say the unpopular opinion. I think fucking, you know what I'm saying, like, she fucked up and shit. It's like, if you travel to, like, Singapore, where they still execute you by a firing squad for any kind of drugs,
You don't take
like,
any
you
drugs.
just don't take the drugs or you don't go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Russia fucking is rough on that shit, and our, country's been having tension. I kind of feel like where a lot of people are like, yo, we should trade her for this arm deal. Like, this dude caused thousands of deaths, and he's going to cause thousands of more deaths. And you're going to trade her because she fucking made a dumb decision? We still have people in prison here that got locked up before weed became legal doing time for the weed.
True that.
So it's like, how's it fair to keep them locked up for 40 fucking years at a time, but we're going to trade a fucking, you know what I'm saying, an arms dealer and a war criminal for her because she fucking brought a dab pen and shit and forgot about it? Didn't stash it fucking in her couch like she should have. I mean, damn.
And I'm a debater. I'm willing to hear that argument. At the same time, I want to hear what she's done as a person to like save the world, to say, let us give up this traitor for this war criminal.
You know what I'm saying?
That's how I feel on it. I feel like, well, let's somebody debate that on my side, on the other side. I'm not going to debate that because I don't know enough about the scenario.
I feel bad for her as a person.
Right. I feel bad for her as a person.
You shouldn't have to do 9 years for some fucking weed.
I felt more bad when I watched her walk through the cell and she had to like almost duck through the top of the ceiling. That's more.
Man, she a tall chick.
And because I know how they feel about the LGBT, the alpha, you know what I'm saying, the community out there. So I feel more like somebody might take advantage of her in that particular scenario. But other than that, you got to do. You know what? That was you. You know the rules. You know the rules.
I feel bad for her, but I felt bad for that Australian chick that they fucking executed in fucking Singapore for some fucking cocaine and shit. Like, I'm like, yo,
Damn, I didn't hear about that. That's just wild.
I'm like, man, sometimes they fucking, you know. You take a gamble, I don't fucking feel they should kill you for it. But if you know that that's that country's fucking thing, then maybe fucking that's the kind. Like, that's the when Game just canceled that fucking Korea fucking show and shit, and they were all fucking blasting him all over the news. And they said that they're like, hey, the second they sent fucking Game's camp a fucking thing saying, hey, you start smoking weed and you're gonna end up in prison and shit, like, you know, any kind of activities that break Korea's laws and shit fucking are gonna you're not gonna get any slack cut. And they were like, okay, we're not playing. Motherfuckers don't want to go there and end up fucking in prison for 10 years and shit over trying to make a little bag, even if it's a nice bag. Not fucking worth it. They opted not to go.
And sometimes I think that comes down to the mental conditioning of a person. Because if you put yourself in certain situations, you will know when the law or the direct law, whatever you're doing, whether if you're in the military or in this situation or that situation, it means life or death. Like when they tell you in the military something, you don't, it normally means you screwing that up. Could mean life or death, or you ending up in the, you know what I'm saying, in the camp. Not a baby camp, but a camp. Some laws, if that tells you execution. Can't be tinky winky about it. That's the law. Know the law.
No, for sure.
Know the law. Be smarter than that. To keep your third eye open. That's what being woke is. Technically, if we're going to use the word woke, that's what woke is.
What he's saying
right.
It's not about not breaking the law. It's about not being caught.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
But you got to know how to avoid breaking that law. You got to know the law.
Exactly.
The ski skirt.
Hey, going back to touring and stuff, any shady promoters ever had to whoop somebody's ass? You gotta give me some. You gotta give me some here. You gotta give me some.
There's always been shady promoters, man. Like, that's the nature of the beast. And sometimes you're sitting in the fucking, you know what I'm saying, pawn shop parking lot bright and early in the morning waiting for it to open so this motherfucker can pawn his shit so you can fucking get you paid. And a part of you feels bad, but a part of you, you know what I'm saying, wants to get that fucking money that he owes you, and you're going to get that money. But, no, you know, that's the nature of the game. And that's how you meet good promoters over the years, is you're like, yo, every promoter is 50% potentially a shady promoter until you do business with them once. You know what I'm saying? The fucking business is good, all the money is on point, the fucking promotion is done, everything that's agreed is handled. Cool. Now he's a fucking, you know what I'm saying, only a 25% risk. You know what I'm saying? Because you've done. And the more you work with them, then you get to the point with certain promoters where you don't need a contract or a deposit, realistically, because their fucking word is bond.
Yeah, you built that relationship with them already.
You know everything is going to be on point, and you know what I'm saying, you feel on, and they're like, well, where's the contract and shit? You're like, that's so and so, you don't need a contract and shit. Like, it's their fucking 12th LSP show. It's cool.
I think the worst promoter type is the promoter who's on the tour with you as an artist, and if they don't start off the show, normally that's the promoter who I worry about.
Well, because
he doesn't have time to kind of really promote it. He's not there to put.
Remotely. They're counting on somebody else. So it's
so
not
many
that they're
variants.
a bad promoter. They might throw a great show if they were at home handling business for 2 months. But if they're just trying to be like, oh man, I'll just pick up the stop in my city, but they're on tour.
Promoter type. You know
There's been exceptions.
There's been exceptions.
I've done a few home shows and shit
No, you
with
handle
cats on
business,
tour
though. You handle business.
But not just us. You know what I'm saying? Michigan fucking with Light throwing that shit. That shit was on point.
Boo. I'm just joking. I love Light.
You know, there's always some markets, you know, that go good, but it is hard promoting the show while you're on the road at the same time. I hate doing it and shit. If somebody else picks it up, it's always better.
Out of the ratio, that's the worst to me. Yes, Young Light did put on a very good show, but the promoter type, that's the because he's not there.
But he has
Right.
a good solid team at home.
Yes.
He just has 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Right.
He's not in all the way.
Right. So it's a
going
little
on
bit
the way.
harder for him.
Well, shit. Go ahead.
No, other than that, it's pretty average. It's the ratio. It's the ratio. Promoters are promoters. We love them all.
Hey, well, you guys, real quick, got any new music coming out, or you know what I mean? Where can they find your music?
Shit like let's see, Spotify is Scum LSP. You know, all the socials is under Scum LSP. Honestly, Spotify, Pandora, fucking, you know, iTunes, Apple Music, fucking everything and shit. Like, if you look on our socials, gorehop.com, that's like the main store that has all of our artists. So motherfuckers, like, they might not like one, they might like the other one better and shit. We have fucking some for everybody.
All right.
But yeah, no, any major social, I mean, there's albums and albums and albums. The beautiful thing, if you guys are listening, check this shit out, and you end up finding something you like, you have years worth of music to fucking go back and catch up. And if you don't, you'll know within the first 5 minutes. Be like, yeah, this is a little too much.
And even if you don't like the music, you might find some apparel or something. You might find some
See, that's
apparel.
a professional merch manager. He's
Of
trying to
course.
sell you motherfuckers.
Right,
a
I'm trying to sell
t-shirt
you.
without
Right,
even knowing the
right. You
music.
don't even know it
But
yet.
yes, catch us on Cheap Snuff, YouTube,
right.
and shit.
And correct. I mean, if you catch. Go ahead. Plug
No,
it.
no,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, anywhere from the music to not liking music. Everybody may not like the music, but that's the thing about LSP is that we have the merchandise also. From
I was just about to get to
jackets,
that,
it's
yeah.
getting cold. We got the jackets, we got sweatpants. I mean, anywhere from hoodies to shirts to, I mean, you're talking tumbler cups to charms to chains. I mean, we have a variety of beanies.
Jackets, jerseys, hats,
Right,
and
hockey
baby
jerseys,
shirts.
basketball. I mean, to where you might even be
Sell
like,
up on that
"Hey,
shit, master."
I may not like it, but you know what? My little niece or my cousin likes it. So let me go over to www.gorehop.com and purchase something for my relative and make them happy for this holiday season."
There you go.
Adopt a starving musician. Even if the motherfucker is fat and shit like myself and shit, he might still be starving fucking on the inside. Just so you know.
Hey, his assistant is skinny as hell, so you know what I'm saying? All the weight goes to him.
All right, man. Well, shit, we definitely appreciate y'all coming on, man.
Hey,
And
thanks for having us on
No,
the
thank
show
you,
and shit,
thank
you. Know
you.
what I'm saying? Like, we've been working, you know what I'm saying, on what we do and shit, fucking in the same building for a long time. I'm glad we get together and chop it up.
yeah, we'll definitely have to talk some more, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, there you have it, man. We got Scum and we got Lynch of LSP. You know what I mean? They're making moves and got a gang of music for y'all, so check them out. You can find us on all platforms as well. We're out of here. Peace.